Alright, we're back with part 3 of my favorite demos from Steam Next Fest of February 2026. We have another episode of even more amazing demos and games you should definitely be checking out. We are starting things off with Meat Grinder. This is another in the kind of like horror job simulator category. You have moved to a strange town to open up a hot dog store. And each day you must prepare the hot dogs, serve your customers, clean up, and earn that money. Unfortunately for you, meat is very expensive, and you're going to have to soon go to some rather strange means in order to keep your shop going. And there's of course mysteries of the town as well. So this one again falls in that same category that we've seen of you're trying to do your job, but something spooky and mysterious is happening. I did like the kind of like job simulator aspect of trying to run the stand, but the demo was quite light, both in terms of like how horrific the main game is going to be, and how much of extent the job is going to matter. Because we've seen some games where the whole job simulator aspect just kind of melts away in favor of like the horror itself. So I am interested in seeing where this one is going to go. So, if you're in the mood for some diner fun and some murder along the way, I would give this one a try. And now we go to Down South. This is a kind of choose your own adventure platformer, where you play as South, this very lovely jelly bean, who wakes up one day to find that he is incapable of stop smiling. And in order to figure out what is wrong with him, he's going to explore a very varied and very colorful world to discover the mysteries of it. The twist of the game is that your decisions will greatly affect the plot as well as how you play the game going forward. If you choose options that are like happy or less aggressive, South plays like a very animated and very kind of like springy character, bouncing around, jumping, floating, etc, etc. If you start focusing more on being aggressive, killing, and so on, he loses a lot of his jump ability, but becomes more capable in combat. And of course the story will take a far darker turn in the process. Now, from the demo, we didn't really get to see, I guess, how far either extreme is going to go. The level design is clearly being set up to allow you multiple routes. So if you focus more on being springy, jumpy, and happy, you'll take a lot more of the higher up paths, bouncing around, avoiding combat, etc. If you go the other way, you'll be kind of focusing more on the lower paths and getting to more and more fights. So I really do like the art style, especially like the title cards for each individual section. And there is certainly something interesting here with the whole narrative that fits into the gameplay. And they can stick that landing, this could be a fantastic platformer to check out. Now, as a bit of good news, while we were playing the demo, they did run a Kickstarter that has succeeded. So this game is certainly going to be coming out, and if you're in the mood for some emotionally driven platforming or fighting, I would give this one a try. And now we switch over to Wild Blue Skies. This is, well, quite frankly, the indie take on the Star Fox formula. When evil is threatening the planet, it's up to our 4 heroes of varying animal species to get in their spaceships and shoot their way through a variety of enemies. I do like the art style, with the different characters and the various ships. As for the gameplay, this is pretty much your standard Star Fox like. You'll do your barrel rolls, you'll try and lock on for missile shots, and of course, pick up upgrades for your lasers. From the demo, I didn't see anything that like stood out differently for the formula, and this one again just feels like a very solid homage to that style. So if you're in the mood for some classic forward the screen shooting, and trying to do as many barrel rolls as you can, I would at least give this one a try. And now we go to Mourning Tide. This is yet another in the horror and fishing category, which has become quite popular following Dredge. We are just trying to catch some fish to feed our family, but It seems like the fish are getting stranger, the air and water is looking more and more disturbing, and we're going to start pulling things that aren't quite fish out of the sea. The basic gameplay of trying to navigate some very not quite exactly realistic fishing to get the fish up is intriguing. But like our first game, while the base concept is solid, I'm still interested to see if there will be any more growth to it. The demo, of course, ends with a lovely cliffhanger that doesn't quite indicate where or how deep this fishing trip will go. So, if you're still in the mood for some horror and enjoy doing some fishing along the way, I would at least give this one a try. And now we leave the horror behind for some arcade fun with Shatter. This is an arcade kind of brick-breaking game, where various characters in what appears to be like Candyland are getting into tournaments to see who can break the most bricks in a single match. Each character has different abilities in terms of how they'll do a melee attack, as well as a range and special. And your job is to be the one who breaks the most bricks before your opponent. Now, the main campaign allows you to play as different characters, and you can also upgrade them for kind of increased speed, more stun, etc, etc. Now, the main focus, of course, is going to be for the multiplayer, and you can play with multiple people to see who's the best brick breaker of them all. Another game that what you see is what you get. It's a very charming one, and I would say this is perfect for a younger audience, or you're looking for more of an arcade, kind of more cozier time in that respect. So, if you don't like bricks but you do like candy, I would give this one a try. We now go to some bonus games. First up is Scope Creep. This is an incremental, where you are trying to banish ghosts and then use their spirits to grow ever stronger to cast more rituals and rinse and repeat. This is kind of like a quasi-tower defense, where you have a specific field around your character and you want to attack all the enemies who get within it. After a round is over, you'll go to the ever-expanding perk tree to unlock more basic features, raise your stats, and make your hopefully next run even more lucrative. If you survive all the way to the end of a round, you'll have to fight a boss, and then the story and the gameplay will grow from there. I like the different boss fights the game has, and the upgrades, of course, do a good enough job of escalating, going from being able to barely fight one enemy to just ripping and tearing all the ghosts that you see. Now, for this particular style, I'm not quite sure how much more there's going to be in the main game. By the time I was finished the demo, I was already kind of stacked in terms of abilities and power, and I don't know if there's going to be more, or if it's just going to be kind of raising the power curve from that point on. Still, a pretty solid entry for the incremental fans in the audience, looking to do a whole lot, I should say, of ghost busting. And for the last game of today's video, we go to Grid Force TD. This is another tower defense / incremental, where your mission is to defend your base from ever-growing amounts of shapes and other things coming to get at you. The rules are that the board itself can be manipulated by placing down different tetraminos. These will block and, of course, change the routing of the enemies. Now, you can also place them on top of each other to power up those squares to improve the towers that you place there. And like some of the other ones that we've played, as the game goes on, you'll be able to unlock specialty towers and create different builds based on your own play styles to enhance them, get further in, unlock more rewards, and you get the picture. And for this particular style of tower defense, I was enjoying it. Now, you do start off very slow. You simply don't have enough power with the towers, nor enough space on the map in order to adequately map and lane the different enemies. But as you keep playing, you'll of course be able to unlock more, gain a lot more power, and then you'll be just holding the line for as long as you can. So this one I would say is pretty solid, although I've been seeing a lot more of these tower defense roguelikes or incrementals lately, so it's going to become, I think, harder and harder for these games to stand out from one another, but this is still a very solid entry for fans of the incremental and tower defense variety. And with that, we are done with another part, but don't you worry, we got plenty more games for this series. Let me know what you think about them down below, and if you want me to look at your game for a future showcase, stream, whatever, be sure to get in touch. Thanks for watching, and see everyone for our next part. Thanks for watching, and a special thank you to our Patreon supporters. If you enjoyed the video, do the YouTubing stuff, be sure to visit our Discord and Patreon, and if you're interested in more of my thoughts on design, check out my game design books.